This channel is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Click the link, please. I need to buy bread.
Everything is fine, cause the merch in the store. It's hot, it's burning, it's trending, I'm buying. Everything is fine, cause the merch in the store. I miss that outside where somebody can save me. What's he gonna do with all that stuff? You can wear it or burn it or give it to your dog. Everything is fine, cause the merch in the store. It's hot, it's burning, it's trending, I'm buying.
Really quick, if you're new here, we make these videos live over on twitch.tv/officialhotbox. So if you want to get involved, or if you have something you want us to talk about, come stop by. Come sit with us. You know, it's never good to dwell on the past. Sure, the past can represent who we've been and who we might be, but at the same time, I think we should reward people for trying to push forward instead of just trying to stay mad because we're upset. It's relevant considering the creator we're talking about today. And this is just the facts, it's fair use. This creator has had a tendency to be a bit volatile, so I'd like to be respectful, courteous, and simply focus on the things that are happening today. I won't spend too much time on YandereDev's history. Yes, YandereDev, the developer of the Yandere Simulator game. I won't talk too much about his controversial past, but
he announced to 4chan, his original target audience, that he was sick of them. He coded the game to throw up this condescending message. YandereDev commented on the video, telling him to fuck off.
Doll forum, where a user named Cannot Google Me proudly shared pictures of their new doll and expressed interest in dressing her up in various cosplays. No, I don't own a love doll. One such confirmation message was promptly received after taking Cannot Google Me and checking it against one of Alex's main emails.
I, Other X, humbly submit a toast.
hey, it's just what happened. If you're not familiar with the person we're talking about today, YandereDev, whose real name is Alex, is an independent American game developer who resides in California. He worked at a video game company for 3 years prior to the creation of Yandere Simulator, a Hitman-style, sandboxy type game where you play as a yandere, a trope from Japanese media. It's a girl with an unhealthy obsession with her lover, or her crush. The premise of the game is that you play as a yandere, eliminating 10 rivals in your quest for your senpai's love. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. It's cursed. It's so cursed, I'm not gonna do it. Senpai, ooh! Yeah, it's not the most healthy of things to be into, but hey, people like what they like. And it's a fairly fun-looking game. There's a reason it gained so much popularity. But however, as the game grew, so did interest in its creator, revealing a not-so-pretty track record. But that's the past. Now, as of an update on his WordPress account, YandereDev claims there's been major progress in the game. So much so that he's completed multiple full playthroughs. So buckle in, grab some orange juice, and let's talk about the new Yandere Simulator blog post and what it means for the future of this game. Welcome back to the channel, new and returning, young and old, fans, haters, and everyone in between. If you're new here, why not subscribe? It's free, it's easy, just takes a second, and you can always undo it, but it really does help out the channel a lot, so thank you. I've spent enough time talking about Alex or YandereDev's past. Let's talk about the blog post. The post, entitled September 1st Progress Report, reads, "Hello. About 2 weeks ago, I finished the 10th rival, which if you don't know, is supposed to be the final rival. I started working on the ending sequence. It was finished about 1 week ago. Since then, I've been searching for bugs, fixing anything that looks janky, and adding a final coat of polish to the update to prepare it for a release. As part of the testing process, I've successfully completed multiple full playthroughs of Yandere Simulator from beginning to end." Bold statement. The 10 Rivals update is basically complete. There's only about 1 or 2 days worth of work left until it is 100% finished. I anticipate that I'll be able to begin working on the announcement video very, very soon. I'm so eager to finally release this update. That can be a hard paragraph to choke down depending on your opinion, but I want to try to stay out of this and just present to you guys the facts, the things that are happening, or at least the things that we're being told. YandereDev goes on to say, "Almost everything I worked on over the past 2 weeks was deep into spoiler territory, but there is still a lot of stuff I can tell you about." He has a brief section about Yanniversary, which is to acknowledge something that is genuinely very sweet. It's a little project put together by fans of the game to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the character Osana's release date. And this site, when you go to it, doesn't seem malicious. Seems like a little collection of artwork, like an art gallery. There's a section about the ending sequence. YandereDev says, quote, Because the 10 Rivals mode uses simplified cutscenes and simplified events, I originally planned for the ending sequence to be extremely basic. However, the more I thought about the ending sequence, the more I wanted to add to it. With each day, it got a little more elaborate and ambitious until it was far larger in scope than originally planned. For a moment, I was afraid it was going to delay the release of the 10 Rivals update, but in the end, the entire sequence actually went into the game much faster than anticipated. He then gives a breakdown of how the ending sequence goes, and goes on to say, the cutscene that changes based on the player's earlier actions is definitely the main part of the ending sequence. To facilitate that cutscene, the game is now tracking a whole bunch of information that it wasn't tracking before, and there's a new feature that allows the player to see what data is being tracked. Selling my data to third-party advertisers. That wouldn't happen if you used expressvpn.com/hotbox. There's a section about the stats screen. YandereDev says, there is now a stats screen accessible from the calendar screen that displays a lot of information, such as the elimination method you've used for each rival you've eliminated so far, and so on and so forth. And YandereDev says, all of these factors will affect the game's ending. Oh damn, this game has more plot than Heavy Rain. Jason! 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 Once you see the ending, you'll understand why. If you're curious to know what kind of ending you're heading towards, or if you're a perfectionist who is trying to achieve the best ending possible, the stat screen will help you out a lot. There's a section about the ranking system. It says, earlier this year, I mentioned that one of the game's biggest problems is the fact that there is very little incentive for the player to clean up blood or corpses to prevent the police from coming to school. And now there is finally a good reason for the player to actually care about that stuff. Not only will it affect the end cutscene, but it will also determine one other thing as well. And it seems he talks a bit about the available grades in the game, F, D, C, B, and A, as well as S. There's a section about testing. This seems good. The most tedious part of the past 2 weeks was testing absolutely everything that was added or changed over the past 2 months to make sure that nothing broke. Fortunately, almost nothing was broken, but a few things did look pretty janky. There's that word again. So a lot of time was spent removing the jank and making the game much more presentable. It was a dull part of the process, but I'm happy to say that the game looks much better now than it did 2 weeks ago. He talks a little bit about the 10 Rivals update. He says, with that said, I'm absolutely certain that the 10 Rivals update will contain some bugs, just as Osana did. When absolutely every aspect of an entire game is changed over the course of 3 months, it's kind of unavoidable that bugs are going to be created along the way, and that I won't be able to catch every single one of them. I anticipate that once the 10 Rivals update is released, I'll be uploading back-to-back bug-fixing updates for a few days. Please forgive me if the initial release of the update is a little rough. I mean, as long as you listen to the criticism. Oops, opinion! Oh god! This section is titled Remaining Work. It says, at this point in time, the only work remaining to be done on the 10 Rivals update is a small amount of dialogue and a few aesthetic changes and improvements. It's work that will definitely be wrapped up within the next 1 or 2 days. To really make the update shine, I've requested some music and voice lines. Whenever those get delivered, I'll plug them in. But if they're late, I won't delay the update for them. It's possible that the first release of the 10 Rivals update might be using placeholder music in a few places. Once the dialogue and aesthetic improvements are done, I'll do one last playthrough of the game to test for bugs, and then I'll declare the update to be complete. If I unexpectedly discover a bunch of problems while bug testing, then this could delay the update a bit. But after all the testing I've already done, and bugs I've already fixed, I really don't expect to find any major issues at this point in time. And finally, the release date. YandereDev says, as discussed in my previous blog post, I plan to create an announcement video to accompany the release of the 10 Rivals update. This is mandatory to me. Big releases are accompanied by announcement videos. That's the way things work. You know, it couldn't hurt to break tradition for the sake of the game and the player base, but hey, it is what it is. YandereDev says, not releasing an accompanying video is absolutely unthinkable to me. Unfortunately, the length of time it takes to create a video is wildly unpredictable. Sometimes I spend days rewriting the script, sometimes it takes me a dozen tries to record a narration I'm satisfied with. And editing a video can be a week-long process. And I'll interject here, to be fair, that can be true. You do what you need to do in order to make the product that you're satisfied with. However, you do have an audience to consider. YandereDev says, I would like to tell you to expect the 10 Rivals update to come out sometime in mid-September. But if it takes an exceptionally long time to make the announcement video, then it might be delayed into late September. If that's the way that things turn out, please try to be understanding. And then, a very bold claim. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to post a preview image every day until the 10 Rivals update is released. Sometimes it might be a blurry screenshot, sometimes it might be a silhouette of a new character. If it takes me 10 days to finish the video, you'll get 10 images. If it takes me 20, you'll get 20. Either way, starting tomorrow, you'll get a daily blog post until the 10 Rivals update is out. Thank you once again for your patience, and that's where it ends. So what are my thoughts? Well, the comments seem generally excited, whether that's because people are genuinely excited or because we're seeing a cropped version of reality, if you get what I mean. It is pretty wholesome to see people wanting to support this game. And as for YandereDev's promise, I can confirm that following the blog post, there has been a post every single day after. However, it is largely blurry screenshots, which is convenient. I'll say that much. What are my final thoughts? I'm personally not holding my breath for this update, but if there are people out there that are genuinely excited about this game and are waiting on the edge of their gamer chairs for this update, there's nothing wrong with that. I just hope that YandereDev can learn from his concerning past and produce a product that does the fans of the game as well as himself right. Let me be clear, even if he produces this game, it doesn't redeem him of the things that he's done in the past. However, someone who pushes forward and follows through on the things that they say, well, that says something about their character. I'll certainly keep you updated on this, but for now, that does it for this video, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and share the video. Spread the message around, tell your friends. Whenever you're watching this, I hope you have a good rest of your day and an even better tomorrow. I love you, and before you say it back, look in the mirror and say it to yourself. And I will see you in the next episode of whatever I make. And until then, this has been the Hotbox. Bye! Whoops. With that said, I'm absolutely certain that the 10 Fuck off, dude. Absolutely fuck off. With that said, I'm absolutely certain. Fuck, dude. I've spent enough time talking about With that said, I'm absolutely certain that the 10 Spaghetti. I'm too close to the mic. I see the fucking pops. If you're not familiar with the fucking shit. It's a girl who bears an fuck. Shut the fuck up! This is August 15th of him simping over some fucking cosplayer.